What up, what up, what up? We are back. Welcome to the channel, man. I appreciate you guys for jumping in, rocking with your boy. We're doing things a little bit different tonight. Typically, I'm in the car, chopping it up, giving you guys off the cuff feelings, thoughts, reactions, and all of that. But I figure I owe you guys a little bit more than that. I figure I owe you guys a real formal setting to where we sit down and we kind of have these discussions in a little bit more of a professional environment. So I'm here at home. It's late. Like I said, I gave you guys a visual real quick, man. It's beautiful downtown Dallas, all of that good stuff. We back in the building. Appreciate you guys, man. Let's just get right into it. I jumped in this right now to really talk about firing my attorney. You know what I'm saying? Firing my attorney, man. What? Yeah. So I kind of just want to dive in and talk about it. But I think we need to kind of go back a little bit and have a discussion about how we got here in the first place. All right. So again, man, comment, subscribe, man. I appreciate you guys. I got 50 dedicated subscribers that always jump in and check out everything I'm doing. And I don't really be doing much. I'm usually in the car, just off the cup. I'm looking raggedy. I'm just going to work. I'm just handling business. I'm in traffic doing my thing. And you guys, y'all still rock with me, man. So, I figured, you guys deserve a little bit more from me. So I'm hoping to kind of do this on a nightly basis and just kind of give you guys updates. But let's get into it, all right? So I'm pretty much 99.999% sure that I'm firing my attorney, and here's why. As you guys know, I've been going through this modification for custody and move away order with my ex-wife. So backstory on that. Me and my ex-wife, we pretty much got married in Southern California. We were pretty much in a marriage for nearly 10 years. She filed for divorce at around 9 years and 4 months or something like that. So as you know, California law, if you go past 10 years, that's basically lifetime alimony. And thank God, man, because I couldn't imagine going through everything I'm going through right now and then having to deal with that lifetime alimony. Nope. Bruh, that would be killing me. But luckily, things fell apart, towards the end, or closing in on that 10-year mark. And she went ahead and filed, and I didn't fight, I just kind of let the things play out the way they did because, if she wants to be a hypergamous and thinks that, she can upgrade and do better things out there, then by all means, let her do it, right? So, I kept a player. I think with all of that being said, 10-year marriage, got divorced, been divorced for about 4 years now, or if not, coming up on about 4 years, dealing with the whole legal proceedings and all of that. So we ended up still living in Orange County. We sold our home in Long Beach. We were basically Long Beach. I was born and raised in Long Beach. All my peoples is from Long Beach. My mama still live in Long Beach. We bought a house in Long Beach. We actually bought a couple of houses in Long Beach, and then we upgraded. But we ended up selling those houses during COVID. Where we ended up selling our main, our house. We sold that thing during COVID. We rented a spot in Orange County in, Irvine. And about 3-4 months in, things just weren't working out. And we split. So, I left the crib, but, we kept it close. So I grabbed another spot a couple of miles away from where they were. We ended up getting a divorce and getting 50-50 custody, So we were doing alternating weeks, going back and forth. Things were going pretty good. I wasn't complaining. I kind of, reevaluated myself, built myself up, started over, went through all the things, dealing with divorces and all of that, and just kind of hit the reset button. And shit was working good, man. I'm not even gonna hold you. And she got into a relationship with a wonderful man, and I say that because I know him personally now, and we'll get into that too. Don't even trip. We gonna get into that, but I do know him personally. Really good guy. If there was anybody to sit here and really just take over, from everything that I was doing, he'd be the guy, man. He's a nice guy. I verified myself because I work with him on a personal level. The man's a multimillionaire. He's everything great on paper, super good dude, man. So she ended up moving with him in, basically Upper Egypt, Santa Clarita. And he had a house out there, and he had plans on expanding, buying another house and bringing in all the family and doing all of that stuff. He didn't have any kids of his own either. The guy was a catch, whatever. Long story short, this woman basically said, okay, I know we have our situation in Irvine. I know that we are alternating weeks. We going basically 50-50 custody. We doing all of this, but I'm going to shake all of that up, and I'm going to move to Santa Clarita with my dude, and I'm taking the kids with me. So I'm going to switch up schools. I know the schools are bad where I'm moving to, so I'm going to put them in private school, and I want you to help pay for it. And that was red flag number one. Long story short, I disagreed. I said, hey, I do understand what you're trying to do. I respect it. No worries. Let's actually work together on this. Maybe we can find a school that's, within the halfway mark, because she moved 75 miles away. It's crazy far, and I mean, if you're familiar with Southern California or Southern California traffic, going from a place like Irvine to Santa Clarita is 2 hours, 2.5 hours, while you're dealing with rush hour traffic. So you're trying to get the kids to school, it's 2.5 hours. You're trying to get back to the crib or to go somewhere else, is about 2.5 hours. So it's unrealistic for you to really sit there and say, hey, I want you to go take the kids to school out here, this, that, and the other. So we couldn't come to an agreement. We ended up, or she ended up filing an RFO, which is a request for order to modify or to basically pose a move away order. And with that move away order, since we can't do 50-50 custody, if you live 75 miles away, we got to modify, custody. And so her whole pitch was, I get the kids, Monday through Friday, and you can have them on the weekends, and let's see how that goes, blah, 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 blah. So I wasn't going for that, but then we got minors counsel involved. Why did we get minors counsel involved? Because she's making all of these, frivolous claims of violence, and I'm beating the kids' asses and all the things, and
how dare you?
All of the tools and tricks of the trade that women typically do when they don't get what they want and they want to leverage the court system against you. So she tried doing all of that. So yeah, we had to lawyer up, go back and forth, and do all of that. This has been going on for a little bit over a year now. And so now we're at the phase of, well, all that paradise that she was living in and all of that stuff that was going on, and her being so happy and in bliss, and she, they're supposed to be getting married and doing all this stuff. Oh shit. He breaks up with her. They get into a big fight. She moves out. She actually moves back to Irvine. She moved back to Irvine, you know what I'm saying? And while all of this was going on, I was still living in Irvine. And I was still trying to, one, pay all of that egregious rent, you know what I'm saying? Because Irvine, a 4-bedroom home, 5-bedroom home, anything along those lines, you're going to be paying, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month. It just is what it is. So I wasn't trying to do all of that. Or if I'm going to pay that level of money, then I want to do something nice. It's not going to be just regular. Like if I'm gonna drop $5,000, $6,000 a month, it's got to be something nice. It's got to be something that everybody can be proud of. You pull up on, it's got curb appeal, it's doing all the things and all of that. And my whole point of even staying there was for the kids. I'm here for these babies. I'm not in Irvine because I like Irvine. No, I'm from Long Beach. I'd rather be back in the beach. But as you guys all know, California is California. So your boy got an opportunity in Texas and went ahead and made that move, man. And mind you, I was born and raised in SoCal my whole life, and I made this transition at essentially the top of the year. I just said, you know what? I got a great opportunity out here. I'm going to go ahead and move, and I'm going to do my thing. And I'm not seeing my kids anyway because she's withholding them. Go check my previous videos. Like, you'll see, like, it's been drama back and forth, man. It's nonstop. But I've had this attorney since the beginning of her filing this modification to, move away. And the attorney, originally I consulted her because I wanted to keep a returning attorney on retainer. Because my whole thing was, I was like, things aren't going too good. I know how this woman gets down. You know, she's a paralegal. She claims to be an attorney. Like, she masquerades as an attorney. That was the wrong sound effect. It was actually this one. But she masquerades as an attorney. She doesn't have her bar license. But neither here nor there. But when she gets into that courtroom, she's pro se. She thinks she's know-it-all, end-all, be-all. However, when she was dealing with this stuff, she went ahead and hired the same attorney she hired for the divorce. Super awesome guy, man. Super cool dude. Been around Orange County for decades, you know. Have no issues with him. Like, I see him out and about, you know, or even when I see him in the courtroom, man, it's all love. You know, and it's just business at the end of the day, right? I wouldn't even say it's all love, man. It's really just all business, and he's very professional. He's not disrespectful or anything like that, right? But he's definitely gonna hold it down for his client. You can tell he ain't the most expensive. He kind of got this sleazeball vibe to him, but neither here nor there. So we've been going through this thing for a whole year, going back and forth. And mind you, like I said, she got minors counsel involved, you know, so now I have an attorney, she has an attorney, and now the children have their own separate attorney. And all these attorneys are meeting and conferring and racking up fees and doing all the things, and all this stuff is happening. And like I said in a previous video, I'm fighting for some shit that I already have. And so as we continue to move forward in this issue, she's getting more aggressive. Like, she's not allowing me to see the children. Like, mind you, I've already allowed this temporary order to go through to where she has the kids Monday through Friday so she can put them in school, take them to school, pick them up, do all this stuff. And now the weekends come around. A part of the agreement was, since I was still living in Irvine, that you will drive back down to Irvine and meet me at 7 o'clock on Fridays so I can grab the kids, have them for the weekend, and then we'll meet again on Sunday at 7 o'clock to drop the babies back off to you so they can get ready for school the next day. Sounds good on paper. It's a temporary thing. We wanted to try it out and see how it went. The temporary modification was only supposed to be for 90 days, 3 months, right? So as we near the 90-day mark, you know, here we go. Damn, the judge goes on medical leave and then essentially is out of family court altogether, ends up going into a different department. So we get reassigned a new judge. The new judge is so backed up that we don't get another hearing for another 3 months after that. So we go 6 months in this temporary order thing to where I'm stuck, you know, dealing with her, not bringing the kids on Fridays. And I'm, you know, I'm showing up, I'm doing all the things, and I'm getting super frustrated. And, you know, mind you, I don't show my emotions to her or the court or anything like that. I'm just mad because, you know, I want my babies. You know, I love my babies. You know, I was there since day one. You know, we were married. We were a family, a whole nucleus. So they had a mom, dad, the whole thing. They used to see me every day. Now we going to see me every other week. Now they're barely seeing me at all. And this woman is making up every excuse as to why she can't bring them. You know, oh, the kids have summer school, so they can't hang with you during this time, or on the weekends, oh, hey, you know, they've got games and tournaments and all this stuff, and you can go to the game and tournament, but they're not going to go with you. What? Like, none of that makes sense. So, you know, I wanted my lawyer to be super aggressive, and mind you, I've been documenting everything. GPS tagging location, showing up that proving that I'm showing up to the location for the custody exchanges, right? I'm filing custody violations every time she would show up, or I would show up and she was a no call, no show, or just chose not to do it, or for whatever reason, I would go ahead and violate the custody, you know, like, and fill that out. That's a custody violation. I have like over 30 custody violations. So we're talking about this thing's been going on forever. It's been going on for a while now. So long story short, my lawyer has always been one. I took it as, okay, you know, my lawyer, she's out of La Jolla. She doesn't really deal with the Orange County courts like that too much. She just knows that they're extremely slow, and that they're not efficient, right? But she also doesn't want to be too aggressive. Like, she's been pretty chill about the whole thing, and that kind of helped me in the beginning because I was super hype. I'm like, dang, like I can't see my kids. This woman's violating custody. Nobody's doing nothing about it. Bruh, there's gotta be something. There's got to be something. And so I'm doing my own research and I'm hitting her back and I'm like, hey, can't we hold her in contempt? Can't we, get in front of a judge and ex-parte and say, hey, these kids are, what she's doing is not in the best interest of the children. And, I'm not getting my visitation times, and it's time and time and time again. And her whole movement and her whole thought was, well, contempt is quasi-criminal and, it's just going to be a slap on the wrist. It's just a little, she might get a fine and some community service. They may even, at the highest extent, put her in jail for a couple of days, right? And I'm like, yeah, and she's, and her whole thing is I don't want you to waste thousands of dollars for her to get slapped with a fine, or just for her to just, walk away from this essentially with nothing. And my whole thing is just like, well, we got to send some type of message, right? Like, we got to do something. And her whole thing is, yeah, but, we also kind of want to keep this in our back pocket, because if we have to do if we ever come back to court and we want to modify custody to flip it for them to go with you full time, we need to make these points. And if we already hold her in contempt, that wipes all these points off the board. We can't go back and argue these issues, blah, 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 et cetera, which is still something that I'm not even 100% sure that's even true. I think that was kind of like some marketing fluff from her, which is kind of crazy.
How dare you?
So I kind of let it go a little bit, and I just kept dealing with the things. Well, like I said, we had a court hearing back in March, and then she broke up, or her fiance dumped her back in April. But they were on the rocks since the beginning of the year. So as I was moving to Texas, this man had made up his mind that he wanted to move her and them kids up out of his house. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wanted to get them up out of there. And it was kind of crazy, because if you think about it, like, he moved them in and they did this whole thing. And then, this man said, a new year, new me. It decided to get rid of her. And I get it, because I know she's difficult to deal with, but I'm not even going to, it's not about her right now. It's more so about just what I'm dealing with and with the kids. So, we'll keep it there. Right. So as I'm moving to Texas, he files an eviction notice to basically put her out the house. Files an eviction notice. And, they start going to war. Like, they start going at it, bruh. Like, I mean, she's filing restraining orders against him. He's filing restraining orders against her. She ends up putting him out of his own house because she used his address as her home address. And so her temporary restraining order got approved. So my man's had to get up out of his own house. And then he filed a restraining order against her, which got approved. So she couldn't be there either. It was just a hot ass mess,
Yeah, double homicide.
So that whole issue was going on. She said nothing to the court. She said nothing to minors counsel. She said nothing about nothing. So I had no idea what was going on. Mind you, she's keeping the kids away too. So I can't even really talk to them, because they would just blurt out information. Like, my kids are young, and they don't have no reason to lie to me, and I don't have no reason to lie to them. So, if anything's going on in their life, we talk about it. Like, we have no problem with talking about it. We'll get it sorted. But she didn't want that to happen. So that's why she withheld them from me. That, and using that as a form of punishment, which is crazy, because even her ex-fiance admitted that she was holding them from me as a form of punishment.
How dare you?
But neither here nor there, right? So long story short, she didn't tell anybody. All this shit's going down. So we're still fighting in court, trying to get, her move away approved to Santa Clarita. And come to find out, this motherfucker back in Irvine. Like, okay, all right. So I'm sitting here, my attorney hits me up and says, oh yeah, there's a domestic dispute going on between them, and she moved back. What? So I'm like, hold up. If she moved back, then that means the whole year of what we were fighting for is moot, right? She's like, yeah, it's a moot point. So basically, you're telling me all the money that I was paying you to fight and go back and forth and do all of this stuff, which we never had a hearing, we never had a trial because they wanted us to settle. We couldn't settle. She got minors counsel involved. They drafted multiple proposals that, you know, and the last one made the most sense, but I couldn't agree to it because I had just found out that she wasn't even living in Santa Clarita anymore. So that puts us in a weird situation. And so now she's, I don't even want to put her business out on the street like that, but now she's going through some issues in which she no longer has an attorney. And so she's communicating with my attorney directly. And she's telling my attorney like, oh yeah, no worries. You know, we're just going to, you know, we can't come to an agreement, but in the interim, until we have a hearing, I will follow the custody orders to a T.
It's all fake news.
Like, she did it for like 2 weeks. So I was able to see my kids a couple of weekends out of the month in June. You know, watch out now. So I seen my kids. I saw my babies. We hung out. We had a great time. We got lit. You know, we had a bunch of activities going on. You know, we do things as a family. It was absolutely awesome, right? And then, like, this last week, she's back on her bullshit again. So I fly out to Cali. I'm sitting at the exchange spot. It's Friday, it's 7:00. And she's hitting me saying, oh, I'm going to be about an hour late. Maybe even 2. And I'm like, okay, like, hold up. Like, hold the fuck up. You know, I flew out here. You basically know my whole schedule, right? Like, you know, I'm here. You know, I'm here for these babies. You know, I spend a whole bunch of money doing all this travel because I drive to the airport where I'm at. I go to DF Dub. I pay for parking. I get on a plane. I fly to Orange County. I get a rental car. I drive to the pickup spot. I sit there at the pickup spot. I collect the kids where I'm supposed to collect the kids. I drive to LAX because since it's at 7:00, there's no more flights coming out of Orange County. So I got to drive to LAX, drop the rental car off there, take that shuttle from the rental car spot back to the airport terminal, get in the terminal, fly myself and the kids back to DF Dub. We hang out for the weekend, do our thing, boom. Sunday afternoon, we get on the bird, we all fly back. I drop them off at 7:00 on Sundays. And then, you know, mind you, I take that rental car again and I drive back to LAX and take the night flight back Sunday night. And I'm at work again Sunday morning, you know. So basically I land early in the morning. I drive back to the crib, get a couple hours of sleep. I get up and I get back on my grind. So when I show up on Friday, I showed up last Friday. It was just, you know, same old, same old. She's not showing up. She's making excuses as to why she can't come. Oh, the kids are at the beach. Oh, the kids are with this person. Oh, the kids are doing this. And it's like, well, how come you got the kids all the time and you don't want to give them to me, but they with somebody else? Right? But neither here nor there. So I'm frustrated again. And so I reach out to my attorney and I say, hey, I don't care if she just gets a slap on the wrist. I don't care if there's really no penalty at all. I want to put it on the record that this woman has been violating constantly. And she even admitted to you that she's violating and nobody's doing nothing about it. I want to get something on record. So let's go ahead and file contempt. I don't care how much it costs. Just run it. Run the play. Man, this woman came back like, nope. And I'm like, what's going on? She said, well, I don't do contempt hearings. I don't do contempt hearings. You would have to acquire separate counsel to do the contempt hearing, and I'll pick up everything else after that. Ma'am, you're my attorney for family court, right? Like, I have attorneys for my business, you know, or I used to have an attorney for my business when I was running the business independently. Now I work full time, so I don't need an attorney for that. However, we have attorneys for essentially everything it is that we do. It's very rare that I have to go out and go get another attorney to do my attorney's job. So my thought was, well, why am I paying you? You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I paying you if you don't do contempt hearings? And why didn't you tell me this whole time? Because I'm looking at YouTube and I'm looking at all these other things and I'm like, yo, other people are taking people to court for contempt for less. And I have over 30 violations of you just not getting it right and making up every excuse under the sun as to why you can't go. And none of them are valid. Everything on our custody agreement, everything in our modification, she violated. Like there's not one thing on there that hasn't been violated. So I'm like, yo, like I'm literally handed the golden goose, and nothing's happening. So I just found out as of last week that this attorney that I've been paying for the last year will not do a contempt hearing. It's not that it's not recommended. It's just that she doesn't do contempt. So, mind you, I had a conversation on one of my prior videos, and I talked about me sitting in court one day and seeing like this pit bull go into the courtroom, dominate the courtroom, be very assertive about everything that needs to happen as far as the case law, as far as the examples given, as far as the evidence, as far as, reminding the judge of what needs to happen. And just completely just ran the floor. And I said, oh my God, who is this woman? And even the lawyers in the hallway were just kind of like bowing down to her. Like, they was like, I'm like, man, like she walked out there. Like when she walked out of that courtroom, all you heard was, and I'm like, hold up, who is this woman? And so, I basically pulled a cold approach. I went in there and slid between two attorneys that she was having a conversation with and introduced myself and gave her my information. And she gave me her business card. And I'm like, we will be in touch. So I had a consultation with her back in April after that court hearing. And she said some pretty good stuff. But, the biggest takeaway that I got from it was, let's see how aggressive my current counsel is. Because this case, every case doesn't need an aggressive attorney. Like most family law cases, most likely you're going to need somebody that's going to do what's in the best interest of the children, right? Like me personally, I don't care what happens to me in the deal. Like if I got to pay a little bit more, if I got to do this, that, and the other, as long as the kids are straight, I don't care. Like like my life is no longer about me. My life is more so about me pouring into others to make sure that they become the best version of themselves. Like they need to be the best, and I need to put out that product for them. And, my whole thought process was, I don't necessarily need somebody too aggressive, but this particular case and the particular mother that I'm dealing with right now, we need full on aggression. Like we need full on, like you got to get in the ring. You got to put the gloves on. You know what I'm saying? Because she thinks that she thinks she's him. You know what I'm saying? So to speak, like she thinks she the one. And I think she's having an identity crisis. So I feel like I'm going to go ahead and get this new attorney. And mind you, this new attorney is about $175 more an hour than my current attorney. But I've already seen the aggression. I've already seen the tenacity. I've already seen the vigor. I've seen the, like her mind churning. Like I've seen all of this in real time. And I'm like, I believe that's who I need representing me. And I've seen her do more with less. I'm about to hand her a gift. I'm about to give her manna from heaven. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm about to give her something that she can go take and run with. And one thing I have to know too is like, I got to watch these lawyers early on and how they get down and how they move. Because one thing I notice about attorneys, they kind of like us. They regular people. They like everybody else, right? Like they'll pitch it to you and say, oh, I could take your case and I can do this for you and I can help you with that and I can do this. Okay, great. Fine. But I watch you start off strong and then I don't know what happens. Maybe you take on more clients. Maybe, you might be in a scenario in which you're a little busy or you don't have like an appetite for my case anymore. And you just kind of start getting really relaxed and you just kind of collecting a check every month because I'm replenishments every month, you know what I'm saying, to the tune of like $5,000. And I'm not getting anything done. Like, mind you, I've been paying $5,000 a month for a year and we ain't even had a hearing yet. The fuck are we talking about here? Like that's absolutely wild to think about, like basically you sending off emails, meeting, conferring with opposing counsel, talking with minors counsel, and emailing me, asking me how I want to respond on shit. And I write up, my English is great. My writing is phenomenal. You're literally copy pasting what I'm saying, changing a couple lines here and there, and sending that over to minors counsel and opposing counsel and this, that, and the other. And they're responding to me through you, but you're charging me an egregious amount of money to proofread and like send the email as my representation. And it's like $40 a fucking email. And I'm like, and we're figuring out a way to spend this money every month to where at the end of the month, we ain't been to court. We ain't had a hearing. There's just been some back and forth going, and I got to replenish to the tune of $5,000. Bro, what is we talking about? You know what I'm saying? So at this point, now we gonna go ahead and let her go. We gonna get another one out the draft. We gonna go ahead and get another one out the draft, y'all. We getting another one out the draft. So that's really what I'm on right now. And I think the biggest takeaway from this is your attorney works for you. And my girl was saying this for a long time. And mind you, like, I've been rocking with my chick. Like, we've been going, we got together while I was still getting divorced. Like, I was, obviously I separated, moved out, did the things, like a couple of years that already went by. But when we got together, she saw it firsthand, and she sees the things that I go through. And she's like, well, my divorce attorney, she even said, like, I don't really like her. I think, you can get somebody better. But my whole thought process was, I'm not trying to do this again, because I had already fired somebody before that and got her in there, and she's doing a little bit better, but she's kind of on cruise control right now. I don't even care, because I'm just trying to get the divorce over with. Like, I'm trying to get it out, and move on. And that was a big mistake too, because I gave up more than I had to. I could have like poured more bread into it and fought harder and saved a lot of my money. But I ended up blowing hundreds of thousands of dollars in divorce, man. But that's neither here nor there. We'll get back to that. But one thing I've learned through all of this is your attorney works for you. And if you don't like the job they're doing, man, it's your constitutional right to pick whoever the fuck it is you want to pick. And excuse my French, but my kids aren't here. Nobody's around right now, so I can talk freely. So yeah, man. Cut them off. If they not getting it done, let it go, bruh. Let them go. I don't really have any emotions to this right now. Like, I'm more so of focused on trying to get the right person in, because I'm starting to realize that my kids are in bad shape over there. Like that whole breakup that woman went through, and the way she went about it, and the psychotic messages. There's been suicide notes. All kinds of stuff going on. Kids have been missing school. Like, I got a kid that's missed over 60 days of school last year that I didn't have the kids for the school year. One of my kids missed 60 days. Others missed less than that. So I'm trying to figure out, if y'all all together, y'all got the same mama living in the same house, going to the same school, how is it only certain kids missing days and doing it? Man, listen. I'm at this point right now to where it's like, them babies need to be with me. My oldest with her is going through it right now. He's in bad shape. The last time he was here, my man was raged out, had a whole breakdown, cried, crocodile tears, the whole deal. And these are my babies, man, and I love them. Like, these are little reflections of me. And to see him down like that, man, that's crazy, bro. Like, I mean, imagine a kid that you've taken since birth, and you've molded this child, and you've poured into this child, and for the last couple of years, you don't really have that tight father-son interaction, and that son is up under his mother, and she's basically enabling that child to not be held accountable for bad behavior, or not controlling his emotions, or not holding frame, or not doing the things that we are supposed to do as men and as leaders and as people who other people can rely on. And you pretty much give this boy sass, and you give this boy a platform in which he can do what he wants to do without any repercussions, whether it be good or bad. And you let the boy basically barely pass school, C's and D's, on the report card all year long, struggling all year long, not really getting them tutors and doing the things, and not really giving the dad access to him or access to his records to see the slip. It took me half the school year to get access into the school because this woman said that, hey, my children's father is a psycho and he's going to stalk the school and he's going to do all types of crazy stuff. So don't put him on the emergency card. Don't allow him any access into the account to look in to see how much I owe as far as tuition. Don't give him any visibility into the grades for the children. Don't give him any visibility into attendance. Man, listen, when I got access to all of that, and we gonna break this down. I'm gonna put all of this up on here. We just getting started. I'm getting used to this YouTube stuff, so we gonna get started, all right? So don't even trip. Man, I saw missed days. This woman still owe about, $4,000 to $6,000 in tuition fees from that school that she's trying to make her ex-fiance pay for, which is another crazy thing that we gonna get into. But yeah, so I'm seeing all of this stuff, and I'm like, bruh. And then I saw his graduation pictures. She sent me these graduation pictures. She didn't give me any access or any information to know how he was graduating, when he was graduating, this, that, and the other. I just made sure I just threw some money down to make sure he had, his lays, his candy lays, his money lays, and all of that stuff to graduate. And I'm looking at his eyes and I see bags. I'm looking at his face and I don't see joy that a child is supposed to have. It looked like he's going through something. And I didn't know about the breakup. I didn't know about the move. I didn't know about the domestic violence cases that were filed and the kids showing up and the police showing up and the SWAT showing up and the dog showing up and the locksmith and all this other stuff that's going on over there. I didn't know about any of that, but I can look in that boy's eyes and see that there's something wrong. So it's tough, man. As a father, man, it's super tough. Like my oldest that's with me right now, when there's a problem with him, he knows I'm hard to talk to because I'm very strict, like I'm a disciplinarian, but he knows he can sit down and talk to me, especially when he's going through something. Like, Dad, man, we got to talk and don't judge me. Okay, cool. When you say that, I already know. I got to listen to everything you got to say, and I know you're going through something and you probably even messed up, but it's not about holding you accountable for that right now. Let me figure out what's going on with you. Let's resolve that. Then I'm gonna hold you accountable for that. But when I look at him, when I look at my son with her, and I just see just that dark in his eyes, man, and I'm just like, man, I need to get my babies. I need to get my babies. When my daughter is here, she don't want to go back. She cries. She cries to me. She cries to my girl, who is essentially, basically her bonus mom at this point. Loves those kids to pieces. And, it's just sad to see. And I'm just like, well, I'm sitting up here with this attorney that's telling me that contempt ain't really gonna do nothing, and that's cap. Like all of that's cap, bro. It's all cap. I think when it comes down to like really figuring out what you need to do, look at your attorney as like look at yourself as like the team owner, and your attorney is your star player. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna spend some money. You got a salary cap, bro. If you get an attorney, you gonna spend some bread and you gonna spend thousands of dollars. It just is what it is, right? But are you gonna spend thousands on LeBron, or a Steph Curry, or a Jason Tatum, or a Jaylen Brown, or like a Patrick Mahomes, or come on, man. Like the list goes on and on. Are we gonna do? We gonna pay for a Mike Trout? Or are we going to get like this middle tier guy, not an all-star, has been around, he's a veteran, so you got to pay him the veteran minimum, but they're not going to bring you to championship. Think of it like that. And I realized that I've been playing with someone who's very good, may have even made an all-star team at once, in the past because, she is a judge. She does masquerade as a judge sometimes. For the courts in La Jolla, family court, and that's dope, but we're in Orange County, and I don't think you understand what type of time we on right now. So, hey, there's an error there. Look at your attorney as your representation for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we look at these high-profile guys, like you look at Young Thug, man, that man got Brian Steele. Brian Steele is well-respected in the Georgia courts. That guy, you can Google him right now and see that there's a full track record, but there's also a price that he comes with too. And so, yeah, you're going to be maxing out the salary cap with a guy like that. But are you playing for championships, or are you just playing just to play? Because me personally, after spending a year with an attorney that got absolutely nothing done, and mind you, she's not a bad attorney. She's actually really good. She's really smart. She's very intelligent. I'm probably even going to play some of these recordings later on as I start to break all this stuff down, because there's so much to unpack. I can do this every night. She just ain't, she ain't got that championship drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, she kind of like she like a Carmelo Anthony. She dope and she'll make an all-star team. Is she going to bring home a ship? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't really think it's in her like that. But I know for a fact who I'm looking at and who I'm eyeballing right now, I'm definitely going to hit that salary cap. But now we're contending for a championship. And that's what you got to look at it like. You know what I'm saying? Like me personally, I'm ready to make sure my kids are okay. And if I'm already spending this money, I might as well spend it with somebody that I know is going to give 100% effort, who's going to be a pit bull, who's going to go in there and they know the law, they know all the options, they have enough experience, and they can go back and really just cook up. So that's where I'm at right now. And that's what I wanted to leave you guys with tonight. Again, I'm gonna start doing these more often. Like, this is a cool setting instead of driving around and I'm getting distracted with the blinkers and the driving and all the crazy stuff and all of that, man. That's cool. We gonna do it like this, and we just gonna make it an event, man. And I kind of want to start doing these live too, so we can start opening this stuff up. But you guys let me know what you think. Once again, man, I definitely appreciate everybody that stayed and watched this video and just listened to me talk. Give me your comments, give me your feedback. Let me know about your contempt experience. Let me know about your lawyer experience down in the chat, man. I'm just open. I'm open to all of this, and I'm hopeful. And I'm excited about the future, because I realize that, lawyers are a very critical piece, especially as fathers, in what we're doing. I realized how important the lawyers were in my divorce. They're make it or break it. And then you got to look at the judge as like a referee. So I need LeBron on my side, especially if she's got a Steph, or she's got somebody like a mid-tier guy, but she's like a phenomenal coach that, understands the game in and out and has a high IQ for the game. I'm starting to get a good feel for the game myself, but I want to make sure that I put the best player up to where that player can come back and tell me what's happening in the game, and we can pivot accordingly. And that's really it, man. I appreciate you guys. Let's go ahead and like it up. Let's comment it up, and let's just start doing this on a regular basis. Y'all have a good night.